Hi everyone. Today we are going to take time to understand the cryptographic concept behind the blockchain technology. There are two main cryptographic concepts in blockchain. The first one is hashing and the second one is digital signature. Now hashing refers to the concept of taking an arbitrary amount of input data, applying some algorithm on it and generating a fixed size output data called the hash. The input can be any number of bits that could represent a single character or a text or a spreadsheet or even if a MP3 file. The point is that the input can be infinitely big, but the output is always fixed length. As we can see in case of SHA algorithm, no matter how big or small our input is, the output will always have a fixed 256 bits length. So basically, instead of remembering the input data, which could be huge, you can just remember the hash and keep track of it. Now, before we go further, we need to first see the various properties of hashing functions and how they get implemented in blockchain. The first property is deterministic. This means that no matter how many times you parse through a particular input through a hash function, you will always get the same result. It is critical because if you get different hashes every single time, it will be impossible to keep track of the input. The next property is quick computation. It is obvious that the hash function should be capable of returning the output quickly. If the process is not fast enough, then the system simply won't be efficient. The third property is one-way function. For a given input x, we can compute its hash hx. But for a given hx, there is no deterministic algorithm that can compute x value again. But keep in mind, it is not impossible to determine the original input from its hash value. Now let's take an example for that. Suppose you were rolling a dice and the output is the hash of the number that comes from the dice. Now, how will you have able to determine what the original number was? It's simple. Just you have to find out the hashes of all numbers from 1 to 6 and compare. Since hash functions are deterministic, the hash of a particular input will give the same output. So you can simply compare the hashes and find out the original input. But this only works when the given amount of data is very less. What happens when you have a huge amount of data? Then the only method is to find the original input is by brute force method. It is basically means that you have to pick up a random input, hash it, and then compare the output with the target hash, and you have to repeat until you find a match. Now the next property is collision resistant. That means if there are two different inputs x and y, then it is infeasible that their hashes hx is to be equal to hy. Now notice the term infeasible. That means it is not impossible. Now let's explain this with an interesting concept called birthday paradox. Now in birthday paradox, the question statement is, so what is the probability that in a set of n random people, some of them will have the same birthday? If you meet any random stranger on the streets, the chances that both of you have the same birthday are very low. So why does it happen? It is because of a simple rule in probability. Suppose you have n different possibilities of an event happening, and then you need to square root of n to have a 50% chance of a collision. So applying this theory for birthdays, you have 365 different possibilities of birthdays in a year. So you just need to square root 365, where it is around 23. So 50% probability is reached with only 23 people, and 99% probability is reached when it is around 70 people. Now, how much time it will take to hack cryptographic hash functions? From the pigeonhole principle, if a hash function produces n bits of output, then the attackers has to compute only 2 to the power n by 2 hash operations to find a matching output for two randomly generated different inputs with a probability greater than 98%. So for 256-bit hash function, the attackers need to compute 2 to the power 128 hash operations. This is significantly time consuming. Okay, so if every hash operation takes 1 millisecond of time, then it takes 10 to the power 28 years. So it is next to impossible to find the inputs. The next property is message hiding. We need to remember only the message digest rather than the whole original message. And the comparison of two large messages become easier with their message digest, because you will have to compare only 256 bit of hash in case of SHA-256 algorithm. Now the next property is avalanche effect. Even if you make a small change in your input, its reflection in the hash is huge. Let's take an example. Here in the input, there are two sentences. First one is, this is a test, where the first letter of this is capital, and in the second input, the first letter is in small. Now look at the hashes, how it affects the output. Now the next property is puzzle friendly. That means this is an interesting property of hash function, and the application and impact of this property on cryptocurrency are huge. Suppose if you have an output value y, and if you choose a random value k from a wide distribution, it is infeasible to find a value x such that the hash of the concatenation of k and x will give the output y. In Bitcoin, this k is called the nonce value. Okay, and the puzzle friendly property imply that the random searching is the best strategy to solve the puzzle. Now there are some examples of cryptographic hash functions like MD5, SHA1, SHA-256. It is used by Bitcoin technology, and KCAT 256. It is used in Ethereum blockchain. Now, what is the uses of hashes in blockchain? The first hash is calculated for the first block called Genesis block using the transactions inside that block. The sequence of initial transactions is used to calculate a block hash for the Genesis block. Now, for every new block that is generated afterward, the previous block's hash along with the hash of its own transactions to determine its current block hash. This is how a chain of blocks is formed, and each new block hash pointing to the block hash that came before it. Now, this system of hashing guarantees that no transactions in the history can be tampered, because if any single part of the transaction changes, it affects the hash of the block to which it belongs, and then every block of hash afterwards as a result. Okay, so it is easy to catch any tampering, because just you have to compare the hashes, that is 256-bit instead of infinite state of the blockchain. Now in the Ethereum block, it is currently in gigabyte size, but the hash of the current state of the blockchain is only 256 bit. So that's all. Thank you.